神羅転生
Okay, so episode 40 has just come out and it was a lot better than I actually expected it to be. I thought this episode could be quite boring because I thought it was just going to be a simple setup episode and for like the actual climax, because the way it looks, this first mission arc is going to be 2 episodes long, so I thought this was going to be a simple episode establishing the mission, but it did 2 things perfectly. Firstly, it established the mission and introduced the newcomers to how everything works, and secondly, it actually gave us a nice bit of action and perfectly blended in a lot of action to essentially just excite us and not have us bored, essentially. So I feel like it did really well, and in some parts the animation was just absolutely great. This episode did a really good job at animation and art, actually. Like, it was super good, and honestly this episode was just quite enjoyable. So we have been put into this village where the leader suddenly died due to something which we do not know yet, and his daughter, Kiri, has become the new leader, but all of a sudden these bandits, aka shinobi, have started attacking the village in order to get this some item to do with the bridge. I think it may be the item that actually makes the bridge go down. I don't know what it actually is, but it has something to do with the bridge, and it's quite interesting. It definitely made me think about the Zabuza arc instantly as soon as they mentioned it had to do with the bridge. So I feel like they're doing that on purpose in order to make us like a little bit nostalgic, make us feel a little bit of nostalgia back to the Zabuza arc in the first part of Naruto. But it's definitely cool, and these shinobi that we have come to see, they definitely look quite powerful. However, in the next episode, it has been established that Konohamaru is going to fight all 3 of them, or apparently, or something like that. So there's 3 main bad guys. I assume that they can't be that tough if Konohamaru is going to take all of them out, but I cannot wait to see Konohamaru's true power. But essentially, this episode did a really good job at just introducing the newcomers to Boruto on how missions work and all that. So obviously, clients come into the village, they pay for you to complete a mission. Once you complete the mission, you get the payment, and that's how it works. And obviously they described and gave the newcomers a good look at the ranking systems and all that. But when we actually look at this episode, it essentially just starts... okay, one other thing this episode did really well was actually establishing the relationship between Boruto and Naruto, because Boruto really is having a tough time accepting Naruto right now. There was a few times in the episode where he looked at Naruto in just like a really bad way. You can tell that this is gonna be leading up to the big argument or something that will make him hate Naruto so much in the Momoshiki arc. So that's awesome to see them expanding upon that. We also got to see Shikadai, Inojin, and Chocho in their first mission. They were escorting someone. It was pretty funny to see them. One thing I need to point out is that they look older than what they were a couple episodes ago. Like, they actually all look very older. And another awesome thing about this episode was that we finally have a new ending, and wow, it was absolutely awesome. Like, I'm actually so happy. The ending is absolutely epic. Like, wow. I may need to make an entire video based upon that, because it was an awesome ending. Awesome to see that. But anyway, so this episode was really, really decent for what it was. It got straight to the point, and it also threw in a lot of action and stuff like that. So I'm really excited, because essentially we arrived to the village, and wow, as soon as we got to this village, we see someone get murdered or stabbed, like instantly, by the shinobi that they will be facing within the next episode. He literally stabs a guy right in his heart, like right in his chest area, and just throws him on the ground. Like, we go from the academy, and wow, they are really trying to convince us they are changing the tone of the story. Like, we go from one episode where it's like happy days, and the next episode we're watching a guy get stabbed, like, in the stomach. I thought that was really cool to see, just because of how they are implementing the darkness within the story now. They aren't really implementing darkness, but they're just taking a more serious tone. and that is a lot cooler to see. Another thing, one complaint would be Sarada's character, because I don't know, man, she's just unnecessarily saying stupid stuff to Boruto. Something about his failures, like she said, I'm gonna become Hokage, I don't want your failures to be on my record. And what failures has he done? Seriously, he's the reason you're a shinobi, like he's the reason you've become a genin. It did not make any sense for Sarada to say that at all, and it's getting a little bit tiring to see that. Even Boruto as a character is getting tired of it. Like, they need to calm down on that, because it's getting, as a viewer, it's just getting quite annoying to witness that. But obviously, it's all leading into something bigger that we'll see in the future between the two characters, so it's just development, and I guess it's acceptable because they're doing it for a purpose. But besides that, we did get to see the enemy in this episode, and it seems like they are quite powerful, and they could be a big threat. And like I said earlier, I cannot wait to see Konohamaru actually take these guys on, because he's going to be taking on 3 of them in the next episode, which is just insane. And Boruto literally got wrecked by one of them alone. He literally got destroyed, like, well, not even one of them. One of the village people stabbed him in the arm because one of the enemies put a genjutsu on the entire village, on this entire village, and that was at the climax of the episode. And it was really interesting to see, because Boruto, throughout the episode, he was told by Konohamaru, Naruto, Sarada, etc., that a mission, being a shinobi, is all about teamwork. You have to save your teammates and your comrades. Do not go off on your own. And throughout the entire episode, we witnessed Boruto going off on his own, and he finally got, you know, a bit of karma. He got stabbed in his arm, and he could barely use his arm after that. So that was a big wake-up call for him. And even Konohamaru actually yelled at him in this episode, so it's good to see Konohamaru having more of a sensei role, and it's cool to see him as an adult, because obviously in the first part and in Shippuden, he was obviously just a kid, and it is cool to see his development as a character and what he can become. Because I personally think that he will be the 8th Hokage. Anyone who says otherwise, they just don't know what they're talking about, because it has been foreshadowed ever since part 1, but anyways, that's just besides the point, that's just my opinion. Besides the point, I think I should talk about the animation now. Now, the animation was really good in this episode, and the art. There were a few scenes where it was just like a still image, and I was thinking, this is taking a bit too long. However, there was a scene where the bridge was drawn, and that looked so good. Like, you can tell that the team is really putting a lot of effort into every episode, and it's just looking awesome. And it just excites me for the future of Boruto, because we've got this awesome team behind the series, and they're animating it beautifully, and the way they set up this episode in general was very good. I feel like this episode definitely deserves an 8 out of 10. I would not put it any higher. It did what it needed to, and it did it perfectly. It did not go overboard. It did not do anything extraordinarily, like super extraordinary, but it did what it needed to, and it was a good setup episode for the climax of this arc within the next episode, which is called the Unity, like the Power of Unity or something like that. And that's going to be definitely a highlight of the recent episodes, I think, because we're going to get a lot of action, and we're going to see Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki go save Kiri, whilst Konohamaru defeats these 3 shinobi. And one thing I'd also like to bring up is that Kiri's character is quite cool, I suppose. She's quite young, and she was only appointed as the head of the village because her father died, obviously. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Let me know what you thought of the episode, and yeah, see you later.